So he's not here today, but we are supposed to review his PR and give him feedback, which I'll convey it to him. I'm audible, right?
Yep.
So this is PR. I think this is enhancement to the docs.meshery. Yeah, this is he is basically enhancing this site, which is okay. Why is it not? Yeah, so he's working on this site basically to enhance, just give it a fresher look and make it as similar as the site we have right now for meshery.io. So yeah, let's review this PR. I'll just show the preview commit which is the latest preview commit we have. Okay, yeah. So yeah, these are changes. I think the most obvious change is the menu that he has changed with a fresher look, and I believe these buttons also, and a couple of things. You guys are able to see my screen, right?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
So looks good. This navbar needs a change of color because it's not differentiable, I think. And yeah, you guys are free to review the PR, give your suggestions. I'll note them down and pass them to Krishna. I'll post the preview commit in the chat. Just a minute. So
yeah, something that might work well is to kind of go either section by section or page by page, not all of the pages, but and then we can collectively jot down some feedback. Some of the feedback can not only be given to Krishna Gupta, who's working on this, but some of that, each of you are also able to participate in the same pull request. So some of the feedback you can take upon yourself and go do as well. So if we go through this activity, I guess if you give feedback, please ensure that it lands inside of the meeting minutes, so that way it gets captured.
Yeah, I'll just mention Krishna's topic and also add a section for the feedback. Gaurav, can you do it for me? Like mention Krishna's topic and add a feedback section for it as well.
Sure, I'll do it.
Thank you. Yeah, really, I am sorry, but I'm not aware like what changes are made on this pull request. So you were talking about section by section. Which section should we start first?
Yeah, the title bar with the nav bar, probably.
Oh yeah, okay. Nav bar. No, this is the current site, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, so for me, the Word documentation after the Meshery logo in the upper left-hand corner needs vertically aligned. And I gave him this feedback before, so I'll note it down. How about for Arya, if you just look at the overall page, it doesn't have to be, it can just be something like this looks nice. Or it can be like, it can be a clarifying question, like, is it intentional that there's two different sizes for font on the page? Is it anything pop out to you?
Yeah, like I can see that the home part is, the font size of the home is quite, yes. And
this is a link to the.
Do we need a dark
page,
mode for the site?
Yeah, we eventually need a dark mode for the site. Issue for it is open, but right now we are focusing on kind of retouching the site because the documentation site right now looks like it is from the 1990s. So yeah, we are just retouching it up a little bit. and then we'll implement a dark mode as well. But yeah, the home section, we'll note it down. I think this is a link to the home page. If I'm, yeah.
Cookie crumb trail. Yeah, because if you navigate deeper into any of the pages, you'll end up getting the, well, I don't know what else to call it other than a trail, a navigation trail. So I took a note. Arya said the cookie crumb trail is quite small. It looks terrible. And I can't believe who did. Oh, no, he didn't say that. Okay. Cool. Who else has got feedback?
Yeah, so if we use the inspect element to see it for smaller screen sizes, then the lower part of the website is not looking that great. If you can do that here only,
Yeah, I'll do
or
it.
do I need to share the screen?
No, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Are you talking
Yes.
about, okay, this,
No,
okay,
no,
is it supposed
not.
to be in, okay.
Here you can see that.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like here you can see that this thing is overlapping, and also here there is no padding. So maybe we can just make it center aligned. This part.
Makes sense.
This part is
I
not
think
looking that great here. I don't know if it is the same for everyone. I'm using Windows and it's the Google Chrome.
No, yeah, it is same. And we also need a fix for the floating tools section as well. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a navbar if I'm not wrong. Sorry, like a footer if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so cool.
And the text
note
size
that
is
down.
also going very small here, so maybe we can increase it a bit. Should I stop sharing now?
Yeah, you can stop sharing, no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, any other feedback, guys? Like I've posted the preview commit in the chat. You all can open it up and be as nitpicky as you can for the feedback, because we need a great site for the dogs. Docs.meshery. Okay, what is this?
I think the footer is like kind of messy.
Yeah.
It's not
That has been
responsive.
noted down. That has been noted down about the footer. This is cool. Does anyone else have anything to say about this PR? Like, this is a very big PR. I suggest if you don't have idea about this PR, I'll post a link for the PR as well. Like, even I don't have anything much idea about the PR. So here we go. Cool. Then if there's no other feedback, sorry, we continue.
Sorry. Yeah, so far there's a number of people on the call have got feedback, and it's listed in the meeting minutes. That's nice. Maybe a few pointed questions, if I could. I guess, Ishan, if you still have the preview up, maybe we can browse it just a little bit more.
Yeah, I do.
The intro to it might have been Arya, to someone's recent point about our question about a dark mode. Actually, that's actually why this PR started in the first place, was to arrive at a dark mode. And I think as Krishna went in there, he thought, well, hey, well, as long as I'm doing a dark mode, I may as well like redo the light mode. And so good, it's an thus far it's an improvement. Like there's not a lot of fine touches being added. Like for one, the scroll bar to the table of contents, it's a custom scroll bar. I think, for my part, I think it looks nicer than the default. Excuse me, the default scroll bar. Or we didn't have one before. Or no, we do. Okay, we did,
No,
and
we do.
someone had styled it, and it's still nice. It's nice when they're kind of skinny, you know, kind of out of the way. It's nice just to have an indicator to the fact that like you can scroll, but generally almost everybody in the world has got a scroll wheel, so they don't generally need to grab it with their mouse. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing. And so anyway, it looks nice. Some of the light touches, there's a linear gradient happening from left to right on the table of contents. It is quite subtle and I think pretty. That level of finesse or that fine detail, I think when you do enough of that, it conveys to the person looking at the software that it's like, wow, this is a really well loved on piece of software. Like this is really well taken care of, because it sometimes I feel like, excuse me, sometimes people, they might be using a piece of software and they'll say like, hey, yeah, I like this one. And if they get pushed even more, it's like, well, okay, well, what do you like specifically? And they're like, well, and they can't necessarily put their finger on it because much of it has been done so subtly, so smoothly. It's not like one specific animation or something. Oh, it's like that animation, you know, I really like. It's like no, it's sort of like fine artwork that where, you know, like, and colors weren't abused or an animation wasn't abused. So one of the things about colors being abused potentially, I wonder on the main page, what we have that describes the Meshery docs is, well, it's you know, something of an index to the site. So if Sean, if you were to go to the main page by clicking the
like the home, home,
yeah, there is you know, in a good way, it's not an index, but you know, anyway, it's a large collection of links, and there's a couple of issues I think about this. One is that there's a lot of one color in your face. I don't know if that's bad or good, but it's noteworthy. Another thing is that it just so happens with the way that the number of pages between these four categories, in the upper right-hand corner, that category has a fewer number of pages. As such, it looks a little blank. So you know what, Sean, you ended up sharing that link, right? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give a ton of feedback, and I'm gonna ask other people to give feedback. While I do, I'm going to, maybe if it's okay, I'll share as I do it, just to help give you an opportunity maybe to take some notes, and then give,
sure.
and then that way I will also navigate a little more fluidly. Let's see. So while we're going through this, so for Suhail, for Yash, for Harshit, for Anand, who already gave some feedback, but basically for each of us, there's something to say. And it might just be, looks good, or it might be, I wonder if this could be better, or it might be a more direct ask. But not only will that make Krishna feel like his work is being appreciated and is important, but it'll also give you an opportunity to really reflect on, like, if you were implementing it, what decisions should you be making, or what, like, why would you, probably more importantly, like, why would you make a certain decision or not? Now, okay, so as we look at this, there's some things that are again, it's just my opinion, from my opinion, quite nice when you see a site that's responsive and is adjusting, and not just on breakpoints. Like, I think there's something that maybe a lot of us have become accustomed to, and that's using like media queries to do breakpoints to change the way that something looks. And there is a significant breakpoint, and it's here. Okay, good. And there's a difference that happens and occurs. It feels appropriate to me. It might be a little early, maybe, or it might be nice if just one of these went away while the other one stayed. I don't know. Okay, before I move on, what I was going to say is that there's this nice fluidity to the resizing that's happening here. Some of that, that doesn't have, the responsiveness doesn't mean media queries, or being responsive isn't the equivalent to a media query, particularly if they are, particularly if you're doing them and they're kind of like are jolting. You sort of see it happen. It's like it kind of, if there a little bit of a transition is added, or if it's just subtle in between. So there's some units of measure like VH, vertical height, I think, VW, like, I don't know what the VH and the VW stand for, but those units are a little more helpful to being responsive. Other things that I think people will miss out on are things like calc, to help make sure that even your font size is dynamic. To me, it doesn't make sense to specify, we should use font 22px or 1 rem. I mean, those are okay, but how do you know that that's what you should use? Well, we have a big font and a small font. It's like, okay, well, how do you, like, that's pretty static approach and probably shouldn't be used. Like, what you want to do is say, well, based on the amount of space that's available, it should take up about this much, because that's what we're looking to give to it. Well, how much space is available? Well, I don't know, that changes all the time. Okay, well, so that's in part why media queries are written, but they're kind of a poor man's hack. It's sort of like, well, yeah, so we should figure out what size it is. Okay, well, how many times should we do that? Well, 3. Maybe we could do 4, but it's kind of starting to get, my fingers getting tired typing out another media query. It's like, well, stop doing that. Just write the calculation once and have it recalculate every single time that you're moving around. Now, so one of the things that I'm talking about is calc. So if you use calc in your font size, here's something that I don't know. I don't know if there's a performance hit for using calc, or for using pixel versus rem versus VW, VH versus some of these other ones. I would like to know that, because if there isn't, then I think that the way that sites are written should be much more dynamic, much more fluid. Anyway, sort of a sidebar as we look at the fluidity by which this site responds. Clearly the font in the middle is way too small. And I think he's been given that feedback a few times. The logo up here, a little bit too big for how much space it's given. The lack of distinguishment up here in the navbar, a little difficult to, I don't know, little too soft maybe, like not enough of an edge. And it actually looks like, maybe my eyes aren't awake yet, but it looks fairly blurred over here and lesser over here. It feels like there's something going on. Anyway, another thing too is that it can be difficult for the user to kind of understand the fact that, like, this is quite commonplace, right? A hamburger to have as a menu in a mobile mode, like, great. Over here, he might just be still thinking about an icon, but let's say that it was this. Well, what's the difference then if it's the exact same? Okay, so that might be why you use something else, but what is this? So he meant to convey that this is like a table of contents. Okay. I don't know as a user that I would have necessarily, that as a site visitor, I would have necessarily known what to expect in seeing that. It's not necessarily an easy thing. I don't fault him for putting this. It might be that what would work better is, so Harshit, you've worked on some of this on Meshery UI, and that is like a small tab, a small pull-out tab at the somewhere, maybe just right here on the side, like fairly tall, because the whole pull-out is pretty tall. But just, I think if I saw a tab over here, a fairly tall one, I'd be like, oh, I would, chances are, if you would ask me to guess, I would have gotten it right more of the time than this, because this looks like a button that maybe takes me somewhere, or like it's going to print the page, or Anyway, I have about an hour's worth more of feedback. I'm sure that I could fill the air with, like just like here. There's this flat. He's got a flat going on here. When I had written the site previously, I used a gradient. And he's used gradient in a couple of places. We were just commenting how nice and subtle the gradient that he was using is. So right here, there's just like a static, very off-white, light white. And in the new proposed site, it's certainly darker, but there's a linear gradient to it. So what I was saying is, if he's using linear gradient here, nice. But then we go flat here, it's kind of an interesting change, because there was a linear gradient here. And as a matter of fact, since it's clickable, that gradient, there's a slight little change. There's a lack of transition that is probably the final thing that bugs me about this. But it's a good question to him, is like, wait, is there a theme that has to do with linear gradients or not? Because we're doing two different things now. Anyway, maybe these should be all capital, because a lot of times all capital words look like section headings, or maybe clickable buttons. There's just a bunch of things to think through. This is what I was saying before, is there's some white space. So anyway, let me stop, because I seriously can go on for a really long time. Harshit, anything that pops out to you that you'd like to give us feedback?
Actually, I'm thinking the overall theme of the docs is kind of not matched. I mean, we are having a dark gradient at our left navbar, and having a white, and having also somewhere green. So we are getting a very different type of theming here. Also, yeah, the navbar I think needs a little change. Also, it's a little slim. Also, that latest, that's a different thing. I mean, that can be changed. Right, that's right. That version is written. It's quite a native select option. I mean, that's a little things that can be changed. We should create a docs to note all these things also. I mean, in a PR itself also.
Yeah, here you go. Here's in the meeting minutes, people are just taking down those specific items.
I have a feedback. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harshit, if you drop in that feedback into the meeting minutes, please.
Okay, so when the text is like getting like overflowing, it's starting below the logo. So if instead of starting below the logo, it started from here, it would look better.
Makes sense.
Like it's starting from below the logo. If it would start from here, right below from the where the text is starting in the first line, it would look better rather than starting below the logo in the next line.
Makes much sense to me. Sort of hanging indentation of the hyperlinks.
Like here, it is like there is a high chance that someone will miss out what is written here, like in small mesh. Rather than if it was written here, it would be much more clear rather than just below the logo.
Makes sense.
I missed that particular. I'm just trying to document what you're saying because I'm hoping other people on the call are helping document as well. But so I got the first one, and then the second one you had said, what was it?
When the text is overflowing, instead of starting and it is starting from the next line, instead of starting it below the logo, if it would start from where the text is starting, it would look better.
Cool. All right, I got that one documented. Did you have a second one?
No, that
Oh,
was
okay.
it.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, that makes sense. Sounds like other people are. You know, if
Yeah,
you
I'll
want to
fix both the problems, right? If like we start the text from like after the logo and bring the logo below, like it'll fix both the problems for like, for example, Cilium service mesh, because the logo will be, it'll bring the logo down and the text will start after the logo. So it'll fix both of your problems, right? If I'm not wrong.
I didn't get you. I'm just saying that instead of like the text starting from here, if it was starting from here, it would look better.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Lee, you were saying something. I'm so sorry.
no. Good. Arunima, other feedback?
No, as of now, I just noted that. I'm going through it. If I find some other feedback, I will definitely let others know in the website's channel.
That's good. That's good. How about from, so Anand gave some feedback, Harshit gave some feedback. Yash, any thoughts here? Maybe on the responsiveness or the icon being used to call up the sidebar? Utkarsh and Suhail, for you guys as well. Things that you're noticing. So there's a small animation on hover of hyperlinks in the sidebar.
Are you talking about that?
So maybe if you guys like them, then maybe that's just the feedback is, oh, those are nice.
And also about the linear gradient, I noticed something that the widths are irregular. I don't know if everyone is like facing the same problem. For example, the releases one has the width of that linear gradient is a little more than what of contributing. Like it is very thin, or maybe this is too thick. But I think this looks fine, and this is a little too thin if I zoom in. Yeah. Now you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, if you do that on the supported platforms, do you see it very thin as well? I bet that's because it's a sub menu. Because if you click on contributing, it opens up this. Oh no, okay. The community has it as well.
No, on community, yeah.
All right, I've noted your feedback. That's good.
I've already added it. Yep. Would
I
any
think
other
also
feedback for? Yeah,
that scroll bar, the scroll bar here is also pretty wide, I think. I mean, should it be changed? It should be, I think, little thin. That will be suit more.
Yeah, like the current site has a thinner one. Yeah.
I have a feedback like below the topics like quick start and concepts. We can add a little bit of padding to the right.
We didn't get you. Arya, can you repeat yourself?
I think that the listed items, like they can be given a padding to the right a little bit.
Okay. So if we give like, okay,
Should I add it to the feedback?
yep, you can like note down whatever you think is right, and then we'll give that entire doc to Krishna, and then Krishna will work on them. Will any other feedback for Krishna's documentation PR? Like, feel free to give any suggestion you guys have, or like mention it in the docs. Okay, then if there's no one, we'll move to our next topic, I guess, which is if we have Gotami on the meeting, then I think he should show us what updates he has got for the patterns in action page, if I'm not wrong.
He's
Gotami,
not
am I
there.
audible? Acha, okay, he's not here. Okay, I just saw him in the meeting. No, he is here. Note taker, Firefly. Firefly is note taker. Gotami.
Yeah, just an automated recorder, I think.
No problem. If Gotami thinks that he should demo his PR, we can cover his PR later. For now, let's move to our next topic, which should be all of these are feedbacks, right? Okay. Next up, we have Harshit's topic that, okay, no, it's just a question. Is everyone able to test? I think, yeah, I'll just, Harshit, can you share me the link for your dark mode Meshery UI PR? We'll take feedback on that as well today, since we are talking about feedbacks.
Okay, sharing.
This doesn't have like, okay. We don't have a preview commit for this, right? So this is just a PR.
Yeah, Meshery,
I'm not
actually you
aware.
have to run the project to get a preview here. I can share my
Okay, then
screen
yeah,
and
yeah. Please do.
okay. Okay, so yeah, here's my screen. And this is Meshery in dark mode.
Yeah, Harshit, I just tested your PR today. So like if you go to conformance page, I've made some comments on the PR also. So conformance page.
Okay, confirm this.
Yeah.
Okay.
The conformance page, yeah.
Yeah, here it is.
You don't get any data.
Actually, yeah, I think I seen your
Yeah,
CA
you can
change.
open up the comment.
Okay, so yeah, it will. I mean, I will see that after having a data somewhere. Okay. Okay, I will check that out. It's a simple issue. The text I can see here. Text. I think the background needs changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can share the screen. I'm having your PR running with the data.
Okay, you can.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, text. Okay, it's a background. Okay, I will fix that.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
we are yeah.
yeah. And one more thing I noticed while running a PR locally, like there was some this thing import issue. So I've made a suggestion for that.
Okay.
And what are we doing in terms of snack bars notification theming of that? Because I think it looks a bit odd. We can add something.
I have taken it from a Figma. The Figma have this kind of a snack bar. So and these colors, the same colors, I have taken the same text and same colors. I mean, I can show if if you think that you can show that this snack bar in a project.
I mean, yeah, it was looking good, but yeah, I was just like the red text was not that much readable easily in that black.
Okay,
Rest
okay, then
looks good.
I will check out the different variant of red then. I think I should.
Yeah, and also like, is this PR just for the dark mode, or we do have a toggle switch for dark mode and the light mode?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like I had to give a feedback. If we are having a toggle switch, I think it should be on like beside the Kubernetes cluster thing or somewhere there, because it would like be easier to access if the users want dark mode, because that is how like everywhere the dark mode is implemented, I think.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
To completely check out this pair, I mean, you have to first open the project in your system. I mean, you should just have to write some of the commands like make UI and build the project, and then you can run it only locally. So, I mean, I will suggest all of you to just have a to just start this project and just review this PR. And yeah,
And
if you feel any yeah, I mean, if you feel, have any problem here starting the project, we have a discuss forum where we have questions where these problems are given and solutions are given. So yeah, please check this out. And anyone also have a feedback who has tried this?
I have one more feedback over here for the context switcher. So we are showing the shadow over here. So could we show a Keppel green that would look much more appealing than just a black, because the header is also black.
The hovering shadow you're talking about.
Yeah.
Here.
If you could show some green color over here.
Yeah, I can easily do that, but that will look good. I mean, yeah, that's the point of discussion. But yeah,
sure.
I will share that. We'll share that in a Slack or.
Or we can also do that on hovering. We can increase the size a bit to show that we are hovering on it instead of like giving that like dark shadow. That can also be done.
Yeah. Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Just documenting these things. Also, yeah, we also have a docs inside the PR, also in a description of that PR. If you find any issues in a description, I have stated it. So if you feel any issues are here, and you can just suggest in the docs. It's on the description. It's just a dark mode docs that how we are changing the dark modes. We have also have issues. Yeah. Here. These are the issues that I mean it is all the issues are not completed, so that's need to be changed, but please add the issues if you have any in the dark mode and have any suggestion you can add here. It will be a great. I will just check out this section and will change that.
Yeah, you can share this docs link in the chat so that everyone can access it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this
By
docs
the way,
is
guys,
not in the community drive. So
okay.
yeah, everyone will face some issue. They can suggest, but yeah, they might face some issues.
Oh, okay. Cool. By the way, guys, if you guys haven't yet added your name to the attendees list in the meeting minutes, please do at the top of the page. So yeah, it was just a reminder. Cool. Any other feedback for Harshit's dark mode Meshery UI PR? I believe like to give feedback, you'll have to set the project up, which Harshit just mentioned. So yeah, we can like you can mention it in the docs or like tell Harshit on the websites call or the hashtag Meshery channel, or we'll obviously discuss about this PR in the coming meetings as well. Cool.
Given that we don't have a lot of other topics, I have a question for everyone, and maybe this will take the rest of our time. My question is everyone that would like to build Meshery UI, are you able to? If not, we can spend the time now taking you through it. Like any volunteers, anybody that hasn't built it but would like to. If you don't speak now and you ask questions about it later, I may not answer you later. So
yeah, if like we don't mind, I have yet not set up the Meshery UI thing. Yeah, let's do it. Like I'll share the
Yeah,
screen.
same here.
And
Even I have not.
Same with me. Same with me. The same error I was getting earlier.
everyone can just have a look about the errors are and stuff like that. If you guys don't mind.
yeah, please, that would be great. I think that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah. Should I like open my code editor and then we can start like with the terminal?
Man, I just, by the way, just I have to commend you for volunteering and for it's exactly what everyone else doesn't want to do is like just watch somebody fumble around. It's like so it feels very comfortable for everyone else and uncomfortable for so like first of all, fantastic. And second of all, what you just did made perfect. So you just took it from the very start, which was perfect. There's like you did a Google search and you found the main page and you found the contributing MD. Perfect. That's like what most people would do. And then when you go into contributing.md, you're like, okay, and you're familiar with the project a little bit. So you're like, yeah, I want to build the front end. Okay. So I see some general contribution instructions. Okay. And you come down and you're like, yeah, okay, documentation. Yeah, that's great. I'm not working on that right now. Okay, there's this Meshery contribution flow. Okay, so some Golang stuff. Eesh, I'm not ready for that. That's not what I'm trying to do. All right, and you're just gonna skip past this section because and so there's the build and run Meshery server. Okay, keep going. Okay, to access the Meshery UI development server on port 3000. Okay, interesting. And then if you keep going a little bit, because for me, I'm hopeful that there's just this Meshery UI section, and there isn't. And you keep going. There's Meshery adapters. Oh, okay. Wait, UI contribution. Okay. This looks like my section. Let's see. What do they have for us? Meshery's written to Golang. Oh, but you can build it all by using with the make file that's included. All right. The next step is okay. So to install. All right. So they're asking us to do this. Let's try that. That first command, which is an antiquated command, but.
So for that, I'll have to clone the repo as well, right? For this command to run. Yeah, I'll do it quickly then.
Is there any common errors like anyone faced while building Meshery? We can discuss that. That might help others. If anyone has tried building.
Okay, so for me, I'm not at all familiar with the Go language. So when I tried tried searching that, you have to install the Go modules and I tried to Google it. most of the commands were showing errors for me. So that's where I stopped. So maybe like some details on that.
Okay, yeah. From your, I think you haven't set the Golang for your system.
No, it
The
is not
path
set.
might be missing. Yeah.
Yes.
So you need to first set the Golang path in your system, and
Okay.
then you will be able to run the project using the make commands.
Okay, so will I get it from the code documentation? How to set it up?
Yeah, you can get it from the Golang official website has the best doc which I recommend to everyone while setting up Golang
Okay.
for the system.
Okay.
Yeah. There are a bunch of YouTube tutorials also you can follow. Also, check out the version that also the Meshery requires. So I think it's a, I mean, let me check.
1.19.
Yes.
Yeah, 1.19. So I mean, you should have a 1.19 in your system, and you can check out YouTube tutorials. There are a bunch of blogs here, and there is a bunch of you can see it out in a Golang documentation. So you can do it easily.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
I think this will take like, I think at max 5 minutes. Till then, if anyone has the Meshery UI already set up, we can go through it like a brief introduction. Till then, this is getting set up.
Yeah. Does anybody?
Yeah, good.
Thank you, Anand. As a matter of fact, Anand, you might just go for the jugular by skipping an issue and just submitting a PR. Who else? Arya, I don't know if you want to try. Do you have Meshery checked out, cloned?
I have cloned Meshery, so I'm also following the steps.
Yeah. Do you want to, Arya, do you want to share your screen and let's try it on your system? We can just try to build Meshery UI on your system and see if we can get you going.
Sure.
And I suppose, yeah, no, please do. I was just going to guess that maybe you might have a Windows machine. I don't know. Nice. Okay, so Arya is sharing.
So I've installed the UI dependencies. I will be also trying to build it.
Yeah, why can't I see Arya's screen?
Isn't it?
I think there's some problem with my Zoom. I am not able to see any one of you guys' video. Just my Zoom is like stuck.
Is my screen visible?
I think
No, it's not for me anyway.
No.
No.
So
I'm going to share for a moment just to see if that can break the cycle. And then so, yeah, Arya, you're sharing, yeah. For some reason, Ishan's share just, okay, let's see. I clicked.
anyway, like hear me. I think my Zoom is stuck. There's some problem with my Zoom. If you guys can hear me.
Yeah, there we go. We heard you. Okay, good. Thank you, Ishan. And now we can see Arya.
I'll just try rejoining the meeting.
Okay. So Arya, we see that you've got VS Code, you've got the Meshery checked out. You are about to run the make. So I think we should update so Arya, if you don't mind, back in the README, if you scroll all the way down. Oh, okay. So if you go to that first command that Ishan was going to run, it was make UI setup libs. Actually, if you go back to the README for just a moment, if you would. So if you scroll down a little bit further, this is the documentation section. Oh, okay, I guess I'm wrong. If you go up from here, yes, yeah, there we go. So Anand is going to change that command where it says to install the UI dependencies. He's going to change it to make UI setup. So if you don't mind, let's try that. Let's try make UI setup.
Which one? This one, the first one.
Yep.
I've already done that. I have run all the 3 commands. So like,
Oh, okay.
what should I do?
So that third command, that last one,
Okay.
you get localhost 3000.
I see some errors, I guess.
Yeah.
It's necessary. Providers.
That one.
I'll search it on Stack Overflow.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to mention in our Discuss forum as well. That's been a recent challenge for us. There have been changes around OpenSSL for everybody in the world, and it's been a thing. I thought we had that addressed though. So, Arya, do you happen to have Golang on your system? You don't need to know Golang. Okay. The reason I ask is because there are, you know what? Since we only have 4 minutes left, let me do this. Let me try to give everybody a quick guidance. So you can certainly go look in the contributing.md for how to contribute to Meshery. That's a great place to start. A great place to. It should be accurate. Where we find inaccuracies, people like Anand are going to update it. But there's another section that I recommend that you go spend time in instead. It's this contributing section in the docs. And it goes over each of the different areas of Meshery's components, sometimes not even components, just coding conventions and things. This, I think, receives a lot more attention and care and upkeep than the contributing.md does. So this talks about how to, for the UI specifically, what to do. A lot of it flows similarly to what you see in the README, but with a little more explanation potentially. So in here, it's talking about the different architectural components to the UI, what gets used. If you're in the UI and you need to refer to Meshery servers APIs, well, those are documented. They're down below. Anyway, this is good. And it talks about the fact that if you're writing front-end code, you might use the REST API, you might use the GraphQL API. Great. This is a little more helpful. Hey, if you're working on front end, you might be doing things with designs that have been done in Figma. Here's where that is. This is a better thing to read through. Okay, as you go to get set up, the very first command is make UI setup, which is what Anand is going to change the other contributing.md to be. That other command, make make setup UI libs, I think, is we just renamed some of the commands. The reason that underneath the covers, it might be running the very same thing. The reason that we renamed the command is that when you're in Meshery and you run make, well, there's a lot of make commands.
CD, bro. CD.
Yep. Yeah. Not on Mac OS. You don't have to. I am, and I'll prove it to you. Anand. Code. I'm typing in the wrong structure. I'll prove it. Otherwise, it's not true. Okay. Hopefully, so I'm here under me. I've got some folders. If I believe the folders are in yellow, so layer 5 is a folder. I'm not sure what was going on with my here. instead of doing CD, I just type ... to go back. I do this again. Anyway, you're right. Normally it would have been CD. There's this folder where I check out most of my projects. What is going on? Did I delete the... Oh, you know why? It's not Meshery. It's just Meshery. Yes. And okay, anyway, so we're here under Meshery. If make is something that not all of us are necessarily familiar with, it's a throwback for the last 30, 40 years ago that is a tool that gets just gets used to help build software a lot of times. So it's just a fairly common tool that's been used for many decades to help build software. And we use it in this project. You don't have to, but we do. And make, if you're running Windows, you won't have make on your system. So you'll need to use WSL2 or a different environment, or install Cygwin and then install make for Windows. Any which way, you'll want to get make installed or get access to a system with make on it. Make by itself comes with no commands, basically. And so as a project, we build out specific targets, specific commands. Sometimes they're called targets and sometimes they're called rules. Sometimes people like me just might say that it's a command, and that's probably technically inaccurate. But inside of our make file, which goes on for a while, this is the make file, goes on for a while, it does a bunch of stuff. It has individual commands. So one of them is for building the Meshery REST API documentation. This is the command, swagger docs build. If I just type make and hit enter, the way that we have our project set up, this is specific to ours, is that it will just print out all of the available commands. So one of those was swagger docs build Meshery REST API documentation. Okay. So for the UI, so we reorganized the commands because there's so many components in here. We tried to make it so that if you're looking through all the commands themselves, that it would be easy to train your eye to go look at all of the UI related things, because it all starts with UI. Consequently, that's why the make commands might need to be updated in different docs. So the first one to run is this make UI setup that installs dependencies. That's the one that Arya had previously run. From there, you can run just make UI, and that is the equivalent of it'll run your Meshery UI on port 3000, which can be all that you need. It can be just those two commands that you need to run Meshery's UI. As a matter of fact, you only need to do this setup generally once. You occasionally have to come back to do it, but generally once. And then you can run this UI locally. Now, at some point, if you get deep enough into contributing to Meshery, you'll find that it isn't enough that you've just installed front-end packages and built front-end code. At some point, you're going to be trying to work on some interaction in Meshery where you're working on the UI, but you really need a Meshery server running so that you can interact with the REST API or the GraphQL API or get some data from the server. So you can either build Meshery server with Golang on your system, or don't. Just run Meshery in a container like you normally would when you'd start the project, Meshery CTL system start. That running instance of the Meshery server, you can develop against as well. So you don't have to build Meshery server locally, although you can. If you want to build and run the UI and the server, there's only two commands you need to do the entire project, and that's make UI setup. That's a one-time setup, installs some dependencies for the UI. That's it. After that, it would just be make UI server. This builds both the UI, and then when it's done building the UI, it builds the Golang server, and that's it. And so, given that we're at time, maybe I'll stop talking here and just ask if anybody had clarifying questions. If you
No questions so far then.
if you go to do this and you need some assistance, please do ask your questions on the discussion forum. That's really helpful to everyone else. As a matter of fact, when you go to ask your question, you might find that it's already been answered because someone else already asked that, or not. Then go ahead and ask it. Troubles in setting up Meshery UI development server. That seems really related. So, who's got questions or comments? And by the way, Suhail had a great comment in chat. He was talking about how to overcome the OpenSSL issue. So he was just saying for him, he needed to unset node options. Suhail, do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, actually, I was writing the same error. So I just ran that command and it was solved.
Okay. So the command, was this an npm command?
I think it's like the normal system environment setup.
Okay. For Windows specifically, or just any?
It's for Linux.
Okay. This is an environment variable that you needed to unset.
Yeah.
Does anyone else had that same experience? Anybody else? So in your node options, maybe it was calling to a specific like version of node, or for me, I don't know that I've got a different setups, but so I don't know that I've got that node options environment variable, but that's helpful. That's good. I mean, thanks for mentioning that. So yeah. So for Arya, getting the node options error, yeah. This is I would encourage you guys to chase this one down, the OpenSSL thing. Antoinette Caldwell and Abhi Kumar and Gaurav and a handful of others have been through this. And I don't know that we're aware that people are still bumping into issues with related to OpenSSL. So yeah, let's bring those up. Bring those up on the discussion forum. Let's get those answered. Gaurav was indicating that for Arya, it might have to do with node version. And it's really between 16 and 18. And I actually don't know which one we're using at the moment. So, but Gaurav, do you know?
Yeah, we upgraded to 18 as far I know. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, like by the way, my repository is cloned. So if you are like, we still have like 2 to 3 minutes, we can go ahead with the thing.
Yeah, let's do it real fast. Yeah.
Okay. So it is make UI, right? The first one.
Yeah, make UI - setup.
Do you have a Golang already set up here? But you should have to install make dependency first.
No, I think I do have make this. This seems to be some.
If you just do make, like, just make, that will.
Yeah, I do have make.
Yeah.
Split your terminal and write this command on git bash. It will work.
Wait, can you guys like see your space?
Yeah.
I don't have Go installed. The first line said Go command not found.
Yeah, that's interesting. It shouldn't require it. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll take a look at that because there shouldn't be any aspect of what you're doing here that requires Go.
Other contributors here can also do the same while this is happening.
Yeah.
And just to repeat for everyone, if you're only building the UI, the next step would just be make UI. And that should run an instance of the UI on localhost 3000. You might find that it's been a while and there's been some changes. Like usually Meshery wants someone to authenticate, or a lot of times it wants the server there. If that's the case and you haven't set up Go yet, then like we were saying before, just run Meshery server as you would as a user, just like Meshery CTL system start.
Is it like usually take this much time or is it normal?
Yeah, that's about normal. That speed varies depending upon your machine and your network connection. But the nice thing about the setup command is it's usually just a one-time thing. Occasionally, when new packages are added to the project, then you might need to run UI setup again.
If you don't mind, may I share my screen to share the
Yeah,
output which
sure.
I'm getting?
Yep, sure. Stop sharing.
Harshit, by any chance, are you not able to log out from Meshery UI? It's giving me a cookie error.
Is my screen visible?
Nope.
I think my Zoom, there's some problem when someone other shares the screen. Can someone remove me from the meeting so that the Zoom is again irresponsive? I'll join again. There seems to be some problem with the Zoom app.
Yeah, Utkarsh, if you try sharing again.
Yeah, just a second. Now, is it visible?
Mm-hmm.
I have run the first make UI setup, then make UI server. So after this, I'm not getting any response. But it says export successful. Not getting.
Yeah, it might still be building. If you go to the very bottom of Yeah, I think it's still compiling. I think. You said
Every
you,
time, yeah. Every time when I type make UI server or make server, I got stuck at this step. After this, usually it throws some error or
Oh.
got stuck.
yeah, quite possibly. Without seeing the error, it would be hard to. But given that,
mostly the error I got is that this one. Go-build.
the error that you would get is which one?
This one. Go-build GitHub this SQLite 3.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you're sharing that screen, which.
Oh.
Or maybe you.
Yeah. As far as I remember, the SQLite error usually comes on Windows.
Yeah.
Yes, you might want to run Meshery just in a container, Meshery server in a container.
Okay.
What you can do to do that is that Meshery CTL system start, but you might want to turn off all of your other adapters so that you only just run one container, just the server.
Okay.
Yeah, SQLite is. Yeah. There's a feature in the works to support, have Meshery support Postgres, which will hopefully help with some of that compatibility instead of SQLite. So Postgres instead of SQLite. Okay, cool. Well, so good. I think mission accomplished in terms of getting some of you either all the way or part of the way down the road to building, and some of you just some troubleshooting techniques or some understanding of what you really need to be able to build versus not. Good. And so
Yeah, cool. So if anyone has any problem about setting up Meshery, you guys please use the discussion forum. You can raise your problems, issues there, so that you can help any other new contributor to not face the problem again. You can just refer to your ticket or your the thread you raised, and you can refer to the solutions provided by our meshmates, and be quicker in setting up Meshery. So I encourage everyone to use the discussion forum. If you face any problem, for anything, not only for Meshery, it's not only limited for Meshery, but for any other problem while setting up any of the websites or anything like that. That said, we are over time, 18 minutes. So it would be a good time to end the meeting if anyone has nothing to say. I mean, if anyone has anything to say, now is the time. Cool. If there's nothing, we can end the meeting then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.